Hello, colleagues. Although I'm presenting these as next steps to the mindfulness meditation, what I want you to know is that they're not really the next steps. As always, you need to have a good clinical evaluation so you know what's going on. You also need that therapeutic relationship that we all work on for our entire careers, where your client feels heard and understood. You can't just do these exercises mechanically without doing those things first. That would be a little bit like if you had a half-filled glass of sour milk. Would you pour fresh milk on top of that sour milk? I don't think so. You'd clean that out first and then pour in the fresh milk after. So whether it's Rogerian empathy or Scott Miller's questions, stages of change model, any or all can be of profound use as a setup before you do these. So these extended meditation exercises, I'll recount my typical script or litany. This first meditation for mindfulness training is on observing feelings, observing where you feel discomfort in your body, observing how much space it takes up, letting go of any judgment about how it feels, and just observe its texture, noticing its location. If you could see it, what would it look like? Accepting the discomfort, accepting it even though it's uncomfortable. If it increases, allow it to increase. And if it decreases, allow it to decrease. Letting go of any efforts to try to change, but if it changes, allow it to change. Doing the opposite of trying to change it. Don't try to push it away, and don't try to make it stay. Giving up any struggle. Just observe as if you're an outsider looking in, doing the opposite of trying to change. Observing and accepting how your body feels and how you feel. For clinicians, I usually let this go for a couple of minutes. And I often ask how the client has felt during this, how they're feeling. If they have questions. And when they're ready, this next step is called observing thoughts. And purposefully, I want you to begin to think about something that you've been stressed about, something that you've wanted to stop thinking about. Observing the thoughts that are going on in your mind, shifting now so that you're no longer trying to think about it and you're not trying to put it out of your mind either. Instead, being a passive observer by just noticing the thoughts that are going on in your mind without judgment. You may be inclined to try to think, or you may be inclined to try to put the thoughts out of your mind. Do neither. Letting go of all effort, except to just observe and accept any thoughts that go through your mind. Observing these thoughts almost as if you're an outsider looking in, almost as if you're watching cars drive down the street or birds flying by. Just observing without judgment. Practicing this new way of being in your mind, one in which observing takes precedence over reacting. I'm going to be quiet for a moment or two. I want you to just keep practicing. And I'll lead you back again in just a moment. If your mind is still busy, I want you to wait for this next exercise, but continue observing the thoughts that are going on in your mind. Don't try to think and don't try to not think. Just observe. Soon I'm going to ask you to label each thought that you have as being either a new one or a repeat. Repeat if you've had the thought before, new if it's a new or a unique thought. After each thought, begin labeling new or repeat now. Do this until you hear further instructions. If your mind is quiet, you can turn off this video or you can switch to a relaxing recording that we presented once before. If your thoughts are still troubling you, notice which thoughts are useless worry and which thoughts are useful problem solving and which thoughts are neutral. For example, if you worry about money, a useless thought is, I'm afraid I'm never going to get out of debt. This is awful. A useful thought is a problem-solving thought like, I'm going to ask for help to get on a budget. A neutral thought might be, I'm hungry. So observe any thoughts that may come to your mind. Don't try to think, and don't try not to think. Accepting all thoughts. And when you do have a thought, label it as useless, useful, or neutral, starting right now. So, colleagues, I usually let this go for a few minutes. And then when we stop, I ask what the experience was like for my clients, help them with any questions that they might have. By the way, the neutral thought that I used a moment ago, I'm hungry, often is not that neutral. People often use food to comfort themselves. So be aware of that. We're trying to find other ways of thinking and being for these clients. And I wish you good luck.